I would really like to start with people, because in the end, that's what it's all about, and give you a very brief history of the city. So settlements typically started where there was a scarce resource, like a well. And the size of the settlement was roughly limited to the area that someone like that woman could walk with a pot of water on her head, which was around a kilometer, you know. And if you think about the planet before industrialization, the home in these small villages were really the center of life. And the home was certainly a center of entertainment and energy production and work and healthcare. Life was really quite small and intimate back then. If you fly over Germany or fly over India, you'll see endless little villages. They're roughly mile and a half apart. And you see then some of these villages growing into cities. This is, of course, medieval Amsterdam. It was almost exactly 1 square kilometer. You find countless examples of medieval cities that were the same diagram, roughly a kilometer in diameter. This is a particularly nice example where you had a denser core. It became a little less dense, and then you had the wall or for security, and then the food production outside, and everything needed in life happened in this little village. And then you had really hundreds of these settlement patterns evolve over time. And I have a lot of fun looking back. I love maps, so I've collected a whole bunch of those. Sorry, in about 10 seconds I showed you some of my favorites. And, then with industrialization, it all changed. You had factories that were dirty and polluting. They moved to the outskirts of town. You had production that became centralized into factories. You had energy production centralized in power plants, healthcare, in hospitals, learning in schools. You had networks that allowed for this unchecked expansion. You had railways that allowed cities to get farther and farther and connected with other settlements. And then it all changed in around 1908 when we got the car. And the planet sort of went crazy, particularly in the US, over the car. And this is what we ended up with. So I think actually the US is the source of a lot of the problems. I mean, we particularly in cities like LA, where we went car crazy, we started designing cities for machines rather than cities for people. And you have the sprawl of LA, the sprawl of Mexico City, the sprawl of Riyadh. I took this out the window of my hotel in Riyadh not long ago. It just goes on and on forever. A few high-density nodes they're trying to build. You have the tower sprawl of Chinese cities like Guangzhou, but it's the same thing. We're designing places that are fundamentally for machines.